In the quiet hills of Bethlehem, nestled among olive trees and ancient paths, a young shepherd named David tended his father's sheep, unaware that he was being watched, not by men, but by God. The youngest of 8 sons, David was not the kind of boy others would expect to rise in prominence. He had no formal training as a warrior, no inheritance of influence or status. He was small in stature, often overlooked, even forgotten by his own father. Yet it was in the solitude of the fields, with nothing but sheep and silence, that David's heart grew close to God. He learned to listen, not just to the bleating of the flock, but to the still, small voice of his Creator. He composed songs under the stars, psalms born of solitude, some filled with joy, others with sorrow, all shaped by a longing for something greater. He protected his sheep with fierce courage, killing lions and bears with his bare hands. His battles were private, unseen by crowds, but they were victories nonetheless, preparation for a destiny he could not yet imagine. When God rejected Saul as king, he sent the prophet Samuel to the house of Jesse to anoint a new leader for Israel. Jesse proudly paraded his oldest sons before Samuel, strong, tall, soldier-like men. But God whispered, "Do not consider his appearance or his height. The Lord does not look at the things people look at." One by one, the brothers were rejected until none remained. Samuel asked, "Are these all your sons?" Only then did Jesse remember David, the boy in the field. He was summoned, still smelling of sheep and wilderness, but when he entered, God said to Samuel, "This is the one, anoint him." The oil poured on his head was a promise, but not yet a crown. David returned to the pastures, carrying a secret calling and waiting patiently on God's timing. Meanwhile, Saul still reigned, but his heart had turned from God, and an evil spirit tormented him. David was called to play music in the palace. His harp and worship would soothe Saul's troubled soul. It was a strange irony, the future king serving the current one in humility, playing for the very man whose throne he would one day take. Then came the day that would change everything. A giant named Goliath stood on the battlefield, mocking Israel and defying God. No warrior dared face him except David. With nothing but a sling and 5 smooth stones and a heart full of faith, David stepped forward. "You come to me with sword and spear," he declared, "but I come to you in the name of the Lord." One stone flew and the giant fell. David, still a boy in many eyes, became a legend in a single moment. Songs were sung about him. Saul has slain his thousands, but David his tens of thousands. Saul tried to kill David more than once. The palace became a place of danger, and David fled into the wilderness. For years he lived as a fugitive, hiding in caves, sleeping under the stars, surrounded by outlaws and exiles. Yet even there he led with wisdom. He spared Saul's life not once, but twice, refusing to strike down the one God had once anointed. "I will not touch the Lord's anointed," David said, even when it meant prolonging his suffering. In the wilderness, David wrote psalms of lament and praise. He cried out, "How long, O Lord?" and also declared, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." These years of exile, pain, and uncertainty forged a depth of character that no battlefield ever could. After Saul's death, David mourned him, not rejoiced. He wept for the king who had hunted him, honoring him as the Lord's chosen. Then, at last, David was crowned king, first over Judah, and then, after years of civil war, over all Israel. He captured Jerusalem and made it his capital. He brought the Ark of the Covenant back to the city, dancing before it with undignified joy, showing that even as a king, he was first a worshiper. He united the tribes, defeated enemies, and established Israel as a strong and respected kingdom. Yet David was still a man, flawed, tempted, and capable of great failure. One night, when kings were meant to be at war, David stayed home. From the rooftop, he saw Bathsheba and desired her. What began with lust ended in adultery, deception, and murder. When the prophet Nathan confronted him, he did not deny or deflect. David broke. "I have sinned against the Lord," he confessed. In his grief, he wrote Psalm 51. "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." Though forgiven, David suffered the consequences. His household was marked by violence, rebellion, and tragedy. His son Absalom led a revolt against him, and David fled once again, this time not as a fugitive of Saul, but as a grieving father and betrayed king. Even in loss, David never let go of God. He prayed, he worshipped, and he trusted. At the end of his life, David was not remembered for his failures, nor even just for his victories.